Hey guys, it's Dami Okadara here today from Clientele Boosters, and we're going to be talking about 3 ways to get over anxiety. Now, before you watch this video, can you do me a favor? Please hit the like button, comment, and also share this with your friends, and also hit the subscribe button. It really helps us grow in the algorithm, and yeah, I'll be able to produce more great content like this. So let's jump into it. So 3 ways to get around anxiety. I put it in red because obviously there's a lot of negative connotations with this word. So the first thing I want us to go into is actually very simple, and it makes sense, but I'll show you a more practical way to go about it, and it's exposure therapy. So when I was 18, exposure therapy, I was I was in multi-level marketing organization, and I was already quite entrepreneurial. I used to watch a lot of TED Talks in my late teens, particularly around 17 in my final year of school, and I liked the way they thought. So I tried different business ventures, a little YouTube kind of, I'll show you how to play songs on guitar channel and other things like that. And network marketing was, I guess, one of my first quote unquote business experiences. And how I got involved in network marketing was I was actually at a gym, a local gym. And I think I let a guy before me go first at the car park, and he said, "Thank you." And he said, "I like your manners." We started opening a conversation. Remember, this is like a dark car park at like 8 p.m. And, he's like, "Look, I've got a little business opportunity and I would like you to learn more about it. I think you're quite an intelligent young man." And I was like, cool, because at the time I was open-minded, I was receptive. But I was also a bit nervous. I remember telling my parents, they're like, "That sounds extremely sus. Do not go." All these things. Like, you've met this guy in a car park, he's inviting you to a private event room that's a bit secluded in a certain part of Melbourne. And I went, and it was fantastic. Now, the great thing about network marketing was it exposed me, at least for the first time, properly to cold calling. And it was by initially calling family, friends, and relatives, just saying, "Hey, this is my network marketing business." For those that are in network marketing, you understand completely what I'm talking about. You got your warm audience, you got your cold leads, cold audience, etc. And yeah, it was funny. I was surprised, to be honest, to get a lot of the mixed, blended feedback that I was getting from people within my warm circle. There's people that I'd known by that point by 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they would so aggressively hang up on me because I was promoting this, project or product at the time. Now, the benefit of this was by the time I started my agency, now about a year after I started in network marketing, whilst cold calling was still hard, I was already bit more desensitized to it than other people that had also started network marketing. And then by the time I was 21, and I was now 20, and I was cold calling different marketing businesses whilst working at other agencies or doing other businesses, etc., and doing all these corporate jobs, I started to just stack the skill of cold calling to the point where probably by 23, I'm 24 now, 25 at the end of the year, I was pretty, you couldn't really punch me, and it wouldn't really hurt emotionally right when it came to cold calling. I had people that would tell me to F off during COVID when I was cold calling used car dealers and OEMs, which are original equipment manufacturers. So people like, Toyota, Mazda, etc. And I was cold calling them at 20, 21, 19, just improving the skill of cold calling. And that was great because it ties to exposure therapy. And as someone who's naturally introverted, and it's funny, I tell my friends this, and they're like, "No, well, you're naturally introverted." I'm like, "No, I'm naturally introverted. I can lean that way." My parents probably laugh if I said that as well. The great thing about this is it made me more numb faster because I just jumped into it. Instead of me trying to, and don't get me wrong, I read a lot of books, but instead of me being like, "Oh, I'm going to read all these books and then I'm going to cold call," it's like, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to read the books and I'm going to watch the videos. So I took a lot of action really quickly. And now look, I've probably made by this point, not tracked, but I reckon anywhere between 50,000 to 120,000 cold calls. Okay. And maybe more. I don't even know. I'd have to double check the different data because there was a phase when I would track nearly every single cold call that I would make every day for 1 to 2 years. And I would address my tonality, address how I came across, address my authority, address my tone, how I was feeling, my mindset that day. And I'm spitting because I get passionate sometimes about this stuff. So number 1 is exposure. You got to push yourself into the water and then swim. Okay. Now, number 2 is actually, ironically, someone that can help you with exposure, and that's getting a coach. So when I was 22 years old, I got my first 6-figure corporate job, and my agency started to rebuild on the side. So I was 22, making about 100K plus-ish a year. And I was like, you know what? I want to be able to sustain this, because there was a period when I was 21 where I had a 90K per year job. And there was a period just before the the Rona, where I was growing my agency, about to get our first 10K month in revenue, but I couldn't hold it. There was some sort of limiting belief that I had that I would get to the the point of growth and I'll drop it to a point of growth. Self-sabotage, right? Maybe imposter syndrome, whatever. I don't even like using labels like that. It makes me cringe because I've distanced myself from those labels. And that will lead me into number 3 in a second. But a coach is great because what a coach will do is they will actually show you on a weekly or fortnightly or monthly basis, depending on what your aims are, where you are deficient, psychologically, emotionally, personally. And the great thing about a coach is they'll also keep you accountable. So a coach is really important. And I was paying for a cognitive behavioral coach from the age of about 22 years old to 23 years old. And that helped me a lot. And that following year, I not only held 100K, but by the end of that year at 23, I made around 200K between my corporate jobs and my business at the time. Okay? So number 3 ties to the coach, and that is identity. So this is a very layered topic. I'm not going to go too deep into this. There's obviously people like the Alex Hormozy of the world and the Tony Robbins, etc., that can go a lot deeper into this, or Layla Hormozy, etc. There's a lot more NLP specialists and psychologists, etc. But one thing that really helped me was I created such a certain and solid identity in who Dami is. Right? Like even at 20 years old, okay, perhaps I was still forming my identity. I was like, do I really want to do this business thing? I like basketball as well. I still love basketball. I was still like putting pieces together, and I still am. I'm 24, right? But one thing I can tell you with conviction is now, especially when it comes to things like anxiety, I think a lot of it is either concerns about, the past or concerns about what's to come. But I have such conviction that Dami Okadara will be able to figure out whatever, that I'm not, even when I get that tension or that angst, I'm like, if anyone can figure it out, it's Dami Okadara. And that's that level of conviction that comes by having a really, really solid identity. And if you have a solid identity, I can assure you, because business is hard, creating cool things is hard, the stronger your identity is, the easier it will be for you to stay in the game long enough to win. Right? So those are the 3 things, really short, but not simple. Well, rather simple, but difficult in being consistent in execution. But these are the things that I'm telling you are going to make the gap between you and your anxiety over time. Just be consistent. Exposure therapy, having a coach, and your identity. If you like videos like this, like it, comment, share it. And of course, guys, think mega. Take care.